Here we are, everybody. What are we in? The first day of February. How exciting is that?
It's the second one.
Oh, second day of February. Sorry. It's the first show of February.
Yes. We survived that January of 2022.
Yes. And I survived Costa Rica.
I know.
It was so rough.
She had a especially tough January. I went great, I think. Somewhere in my roots over there.
But here we are today, and we're going to teach you how to make something called bubblegum pop with a really cool vodka that's here. It's kind of new on the market. It's neat.
It's a cool bottle.
It is. So we've got that going on today, and then we're going to talk about why these prices are here to stick, because what ends up happening in these...
Sticky gums, sticky prices.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because in these markets, what ends up happening is people start talking about there's a bubble and it's going to pop. And honestly, I think
like
the best...
Bubble gum.
She's really excited about the bubble gum.
I am. It's a very unique product, and we never tried.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about what are the factors that actually start giving you ideas or indications that these markets are actually going to leave or not going to stick, but why we know that here and now that these aren't going anywhere.
Yes, exactly. Well,
So,
let's start with the drink.
The fun stuff is always the drink.
Yes.
All right. So we are going to start.
Do you have a recipe for it?
I do. I'm putting it on now. You hold up the bottle, especially the cool one here.
Oh my goodness. So it's a hip vodka. Look at this. It's actually like kind of pink inside.
And it's bubble gum
flavored. That's actually bubble gum flavored. Hence the bubble gum recipe. Is it the one that was created here in Calgary?
I don't think so. I think it's actually from Ontario.
Oh, the vodka. Yes, vodka is a Canadian product. So yes, it is Ontario. So if you're looking for something kind of like say local,
It's still Canadian.
Yeah, that's a amazing hip vodka.
Yeah. And now, so this one here, we've got the thing on the screen, but we just started with basically a martini glass full of ice, nothing big. I've thrown in the blue Curaçao. I've thrown in the cane sugar or the simple syrup.
Okay.
And now I'm throwing in the bubble gum vodka. Now, just throw it right into the glass. It's nothing fancy. There's no shaking or anything with this one. And then you're going to top it. I forgot to take the top off the Sprite. You're going to top it off with Sprite to give it a bit of a fizz and a sparkle to it.
Okay.
And then you're going to mix it all together. And this is actually what I love about this, is this drink was actually from Hotel Arts. It was actually made in Calgary at Hotel Arts, and it's one of their specialty cocktails.
Yeah, it's the in-house special.
And it was specifically made for this vodka too.
Right. And of course, we use bubble gum for garnish.
Of course, you have to use bubble gum. I don't know how you eat it though, because usually I eat whatever we have in our glass.
Right. That would be interesting. Okay, let's try this. Oh,
it totally tastes like bubble gum.
Oh my god.
That is such a cool cocktail. This would be a great one if you were having like a get together, or you just want to give your friends.
Keep it away from children.
But give your friends something a totally different thing. Oh. If you're having like a party, it would be a great punch, right? That you could do. You could make this on a mass quantity. It's a very cool drink.
It's going so easy. It's delicious. My only biggest disappointment is it's not pink. I was looking forward to it.
It's very cool though. It's a very cool drink, and you can only get it with the bubblegum vodka because
of
dangerous.
It's like delicious.
It is, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Maybe this would be good for like if someone was having like an 18, like their 18-year-old party.
It's really hard. Oh yeah, sweet 18. Oh, that's 16. Too early for drinks. So 18, legal age for drinking, and something easy. I don't know. Might be a bad hangover next day.
Oh yeah. Lots of sugar in this one. All right. So.
Oh my god. I think I just let you talk. And I'll just have my cocktail for the show.
I certainly hope. I'm hoping I put the thing on. I'm putting it on now.
What?
I thought I had the recipe on. It doesn't seem to be on there. But we're putting it on now so you can see the recipe. Mm-hmm. Just in case I missed it.
Yes.
I am just getting back in Canadian form. From my lovely Costa Rican adventure.
This is so delicious.
You're like so excited.
Oh my god, it's so good. I'm actually like really surprised how much bubble gum it does actually taste. Mm-hmm. I need to drink that straight just to see how much flavor is, but
That'll be a different show.
yeah, that's a different show.
Anna doing shooters.
Well, the first time.
All right.
So let's talk about the sticking prices.
The sticking of prices and why
January was insane. We saw huge activity. We saw the huge price jumps. Like some homes are selling between like 30,000 over asking price, 100,000 over asking price. All depends on a home and location and community. And it's kind of, we didn't really foresee. We thought it would be busy, but not maybe to this degree.
Yeah.
And of course, 2021 was very active year. We saw the decline in the inventory. It was quite busy as well. Price went up quite high. What we averaged? 10%?
Last year we averaged 10%.
So we averaged 10% price increase, and now people saying like it's gonna have to end at some point.
Which is where they'll say the market is bubbling, or that the bubble is going to pop.
I should like save my bubble gum so I can like bubble it maybe later. We'll see.
But that's the kind of thing though that you have to understand is certainly every market that goes up must come down. But the reality of it is there's signs for these markets to come down. And it's not just because it went up. Because of course, I'm going to be honest, I always say to people, certainly eventually it's probably going to come down and you got a 50-50 shot of being right. But there are actually educated people who can run around and tell you when it's going to come down in signs instead of the naysayers that just love to say that real estate's going to fall.
Yeah, definitely. There are the more of signs, you know, the solid signs that we're going to be looking for in terms of shifts in economy, you know, just like the local environment. But, you know, like people like who are like, for example, in Vancouver greater area in Toronto, they're like, they keep saying this for years and they're still going up. They like average price is over $1 million.
And you got
it's insane.
It is, but you got to know also too is when to buy in and when to wait. And that's why it's important to have this discussion. So I'm going to show you guys a graph that we have made up that we give all our clients, and it helps
based
us
on all the statistics.
Yeah, stats and data instead of feelings and gossip. And for that, we're going to sit here and we're going to explain to you why we know this market is sticking around. And we're going to explain to you how to find the signs for when the market is going to start falling so that you're prepared and you're buying at the right time for you based on your circumstances. And if that's at the top of the market, that's okay too.
Yeah, sometimes the right time is when you actually need to buy, right? It's not necessarily a particular time or year. It's your particular circumstance, your situation.
Okay, so here we have a graph on here. And if you look at this graph, it's actually showing the inflation of the housing market in Calgary from 1995 until now. Now, the black line you can see on there is what's called a forecasting trend line. The forecasting trend line, when we're below it, that's deemed an undervalued market, meaning that there's growth and room for that market to increase in price. If we're over it, then you're in what's called an overinflated market. And that actually is the bubbling of the market. That's actually when you have to start being cautious and careful that the market could fall. Right now, what we're seeing is we're still well below the forecasting trend line, which means that we have a lot of room to still move. So you need to watch when that line starts getting close to the forecasting trend line or over. And we're not there yet, which means there's still room to grow.
Can you tell us those two bubbles that we see on the graph? What years were those?
Well, the first one was 06, 07, and 08, and then we dropped in 09, and then the other one was 2014, and we actually successfully used this graph in 2014 to tell our clients to be cautious because we knew we were over the trend line, and we wanted them to know that if they were buying in that market, that they may expect in the future, short term, if they were selling, that they would actually see not being able to sell for the value that they purchased for. And unfortunately, we did have some who had to make those short-term decisions, and they at least were aware when they made them that they knew what they were getting into. And honestly, that's always the best thing about real estate is that you're making everything with eyes wide open, that you're being understanding of what's happening, that you are understanding that the decisions you're making are best for you with all the information that's available in the moment. And that's what matters. So, for those who are not as much of a graph lover as me.
It's such a great visual though, because like I Love listening to all the like. I'm not good in putting graphs together. I'll be honest.
I love spreadsheets.
But I do like to look at them because they give me a visual presentation of what we're saying in our words.
Yeah.
And you clearly can see that we are still in undervalued market. We still have room to grow.
Yeah.
And if you have been in Calgary for a long period of time, you've seen how since 2014, which is our last
Big
strong year. We've been declining over all those years. Yep. Our economy was in the slump. Oil and gas prices were down.
Yep.
It went so much down that right now we're catching up basically in a fraction of time. So what should have been happening that, like, constant growth every year over year, we're just catching up within a month.
We are, but the other thing that's funny about real estate is although we may go up quickly, we go down slowly. And the reason that we go down slowly is because when interest rate changes are made, which they do anticipate to see this year, so increased, or if mortgage rules are changed, there's always a buffer time before they become actually in effect.
Yeah, it's kind of like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, so in effect. So based on that is just because rates may change or rules may change, it takes a while for them to take effect. And you have all these people who are pre-qualified that get exempt from all that or already have deals in motion and all that other kind of stuff. So that actually causes the issue to be that it doesn't really kind of affect right away. So then there's that slower part. Now also too is housing prices don't drop as fast as you see in stock markets and so on and so forth, because there's always this thing of where people are on the market, have their homes on the market, and they're discretionary sellers that don't really have to sell, but they've thrown their houses on the market. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But they're not willing to accept a lower price because they have really no motivation to sell. It's just that if the timing is right, if the price is right. So those discretionary sellers, when markets slump, they'll just take their house off the market or refuse to accept the offers that the buyers are starting to offer if they're substantially lower than their asking price. So that's also why it doesn't happen as quickly, is because there's not people immediately in there that have to sell, that need to take the price that the buyers are starting to see reflect in the marketplace.
And we talked about the part also that we are so low on inventory, especially in the detached home product right now, that it will take time to catch up. We possibly cannot even list X amount of homes as fast as we sell them. So right now, I think we still averaging about 500 homes plus and minus for entire Calgary. That's very low. Usually it's about 2,000.
And realistically, honestly, we have had ridiculously low inventories in Calgary, honestly, since I would say probably 2009. The problem is that we don't have an inventory problem. We have a demand problem because when we have a challenge with our economy in Alberta, that demand tends to go away quite quickly. It's very reactionary. And so it's never been a supply problem, which is why every time demand starts picking up and our economy starts picking up, that the markets in Calgary get very strong very quickly.
It's a very good observation, actually. That's very true, because the majority, we always have the supply, but majority, the fluctuation we do have is how many people we have available to buy it. And right now with our economy is getting stronger, with our pricing being very competitive across Canada, because people in the big cities like in Toronto and the greater area of Vancouver and surrounding areas moving towards the prairies, and Alberta is one of the provinces that looks very attractive because they actually can afford something here. Actually, not something fantastic.
Yes.
A very affordable, large city in Canada.
We are. Now, the other things to think about. So we've talked about that sales volume basically will start to slow first. Those are some of the indicating signs as the market's slowing down. The sales slow first. And then after a while of the sales slowing, that's when you're going to start seeing the prices decrease. That's not happening now. Migration to the province starts to slow. That's not happening right now. It is not anticipated to happen in the near future. And then the rental vacancies will start to increase. Now, the only thing that's happening right now is that the rental vacancies are starting to increase. That is the only thing. But I can tell you, as someone who has a bunch of rentals, that right now I am probably getting 3 to 4 inquiries a day on executive rentals, which is also a sign that the economy in Calgary is getting better, which is a sign that this isn't going away anytime soon.
Yeah, like we have to look more at the factors when we say like the rental vacancies increase. We have to look if it's in a condo market. I don't, which particular communities, because again, we talked about that not everybody in Calgary experiencing exactly the same market. Different communities experiencing huge rush, people rushing to buy something, they're overpaying, and some of the communities, they're still selling at, listing price is still like a really good sale. Yeah. Or, some of the homes who unfortunately maybe need some renovations or help, not the best, not in high in demand, they still sit on the market.
The other thing too is not all markets are created equal. Luxury home markets may be reacting different areas of the marketplace, condo versus detached, semi-detached versus condos. All of those markets have their own effects. So don't think that although there may be one general statement that is reflective in all markets.
Yeah, because usually people are like, oh my God, my neighbor sold and his neighbor sold, right? That's how it all spreads. But it's not true for the entire city of Calgary, and it's not for all the surrounding areas as well.
No.
Every market is different. So if you are thinking of selling or buying this year, please call Robin Moser and myself, Anna Terranova.
Absolutely.
And we'll shop with a bubblegum vodka, and we'll prepare you for the market. Because even though it's very exciting, because the prices are up, homes selling fast, they come with their own challenges. And you do need a professional to deal with that challenge as well.
But speaking of challenges, we have to give away stuff.
Oh, so challenging.
So challenging.
Okay. So let's see here. Our prize
is the rocket ship.
Rocket ship.
The rocket ship shaker.
Because we did January was Trends of the Future. So
taking off like a rocket.
Robin wanted to take you to the moon.
That's right.
Okay, so number one, I want to say, I actually, we had so many new names this time. Whole bunch of new people loved and shared our videos. So thank you so much. And we're going to do spin the wheel. So let's do it. And
Stephanie Kayouette, congratulations. Cocktail shaker. I expect to be invited over for cocktails. But this month, we're going to release what we're giving away. So like and share. It's very exciting. It is the month of love, and our present will be reflective of the love this month shall share.
Yes, we are going to have some fun, kind of romantic, loving.
We are, but we're going to start with a hard conversation, which is we're going to do the cocktail trouble in paradise and what to do when one wants to sell and one doesn't. Because although there is love, sometimes there is heartbreak.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll do that. And of course, you can find us on all social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. TikTok is coming. We might just we just have got to hire our daughters to be responsible for TikTok department. And the best way to reach us is, of course, to give us a call. You can text us if you feel uncomfortable calling. We answer all social media messages and our text messages and phone calls.
Yes. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Like and share our show and enter to win the February Prize of Love.
Yeah.